Okay, hello. Today is May 19th, 2023, and we'll pay homage to an architect who died on May 19th, 1515. So more than 5 centuries ago. No, he was born in 1515. I'm sorry, he died in 1567, so less than 5 centuries ago. Juan Bautista de Toledo. Let's read a little bit about him. Juan Bautista de Toledo was born around 1515 and died on May 19th, 1567, was a Spanish architect. He was educated in Italy in the Italian High Renaissance. As many Italian Renaissance architects, he had experience in both architecture and military and civil public works. Born either in Toledo or in Madrid around 1515, he died, we already said that, and was buried in Madrid in the choir of the primitive Convento de Santo Tomas, Iglesia de la Santa Cruz. So perhaps he started his career in architecture in Rome between 1534 and 1541, working for Michelangelo and Pope Paul III, completing the courtyard of Palazzo Farnese, an important work where Michelangelo worked also. Then possibly he continued his training in the construction site of St. Peter's under the direction of Antonio da Sangallo the Younger. Another hypothesis is that he worked for Antonio da Sangallo the Younger in both Fortaleza da Basso in Florence and St. Peter's Basilica of Rome. Juan Bautista de Toledo, an enigmatic and puzzling personality, was known in Florence and Rome as Giovanni Battista de Alfonsis. However, in Naples and Madrid, he was identified as Juan Bautista de Toledo. Both Spanish architects had the same handwriting. Perhaps his true name was Juan Bautista de Toledo Alfonsis. So, I just show some works by him. Church of St. Giacomo degli Spagnoli in Napoli. An interesting work, actually, but you know, it looks almost neoclassical, which for that time when it was built would have been a little bit surprising. Yeah. So this is in Napoli by Juan Bautista de Toledo. You see, you know, in this old engraving, you know, an approximation, a graphic approximation of this church, rather inaccurate. Well, inspired by the Pantheon in Rome. Now, this is a very important work. He didn't work alone on this work. It's considered the largest monastery in the world. So let's read a little bit about it. El Escorial, or the royal site of San Lorenzo de El Escorial in Spanish, Monasterio y Sitio del Escorial in Madrid, or Monasterio del Escorial, is a historical residence of the King of Spain, located in the town of San Lorenzo del Escorial. Okay, it's not far away from Madrid. Well, 45 kilometers northwest of Madrid, built between 1563 and 1584 by order of King Philip II. El Escorial is the largest Renaissance building in the world. It is one of the Spanish royal sites and functions as a monastery, basilica, royal palace, pantheon, library, museum, university, school, and hospital. So again, El Escorial is the largest Renaissance building in the world. It's also the largest monastery, but you know, besides a monastery, there are many other functions. The basilica, royal palace, pantheon, library, museum, university, school, and hospital. It's very impressive, and I did visit it. Again, I had difficulties to read the first line because something is above it. Anyway, now I can. El Escorial consists of two architectural complexes of great historical and cultural significance: the royal monastery itself and La Granilla de la Fresneda, a royal hunting lodge, and a monastic retreat about 5 kilometers away. These sites have a dual nature. During the 16th and 17th centuries, there were places in which the power of the Spanish monarchy and the ecclesiastical predominance of the Roman Catholic religion in Spain found a common architectural manifestation. El Escorial was both a Spanish royal palace and a monastery, although Philip II is the only monarch who ever lived in the main building. Established with a community of Hieronymite monks, it has become a monastery of the order of St. Augustine. It was also a boarding school, the Real Colegio or Colegio de Alfonso the 12th. So, you know, one of the most important buildings in Spain, Philip II engaged the Spanish architect Juan Bautista de Toledo, whom we are paying homage to today, to be his collaborator in the building of the complex at El Escorial. Toledo, which is also a very important town not far away from Madrid and the spiritual center of Spain, it is considered. Toledo, but Juan Bautista de Toledo had spent the greater part of his career in Rome, where he had worked on St. Peter's Basilica and in Naples, serving the king's viceroy, whose recommendation brought him to the king's attention. Philippe appointed him architect royal in 1559, and together they designed El Escorial as a monument to Spain's role as a center of the Christian world. So a very ambitious program, so to speak. On November 2nd, 1984, UNESCO declared the royal seat of San Lorenzo of El Escorial a World Heritage Site. It is a popular tourist attraction, often visited by day trippers from Madrid. More than 500,000 visitors come to El Escorial every year. Once I was myself there. El Escorial is situated at the foot of Mount Ambantos in the Sierra de Guadarrama. This austere location, hardly an obvious choice for the site of a royal palace, was chosen by King Philip II of Spain, and it was he who ordained the building of a grand edifice here to commemorate the 1557 Spanish victory at the Battle of St. Queen in Picardy against Henry II, King of France. Too many informations. Philip also intended the complex to serve as a necropolis for the interment of the remains of his parents, Charles I and Isabella of Portugal, himself and his descendants. In addition, Philip envisioned El Escorial as a center for studies in aid of the Counter-Reformation cause. The building's cornerstone was laid on April 23rd, 1563. The design and construction were overseen by Juan Bautista de Toledo, who did not live to see the completion of the project. With Toledo's death in 1567, direction passed to his apprentice, Juan de Herrera, another important architect, under whom the building was completed in 1584 in slightly less than 21 years. To this day, the Obra de El Escorial, the work of El Escorial, is a proverbial expression for a thing that takes a long time to finish. And here it is, the largest Renaissance building in the world. It is very impressive. So if you go to Spain, please do not forget to pay a visit to El Escorial. It's very austere compared to what we usually think of, Renaissance buildings. But its size also makes it even more, it appears that something that is very big is austere just because of its dimensions. No, but you can tell from the elevations of the building that, it doesn't have decorations. It's impressive because of its scale, but not because of its ornaments. El Escorial floor plan based on the floor plan of Solomon's temple. So apparently it renewed, the scheme of the plan of Solomon's temple. As you can tell, it's huge. El Escorial, Juan Bautista de Toledo. Well, and Juan de Herrera also were here, maybe who knows what. Plus, Philip II, apparently the king himself was very, present, so to speak, in the making of this building. El Escorial. And it is impressive, yes, very impressive. Wooden model of the roof. I mean, just the roof in itself is like a cathedral, part of the roof. Oscar Wilde said that moderation is a fatal thing, and the only thing that succeeds is excess. Well, here we see the power of excess. I mean, the dimensions, the grandiose scale. It's maybe Oscar Wilde was right. Only excess succeeds, and moderation again is a fatal thing, he said. Maybe we should remind ourselves about this when we are, advised to do, reticent works or, moderate architecture. Pantheon of the Kings. That there are many kings of Spain being buried here. You see them. They are drawers, the drawers of death in this space at the El Escorial. Pantheon of the princes. Princes after princes, all dead. One day we'll be dead ourselves, and we should not forget this. We are born in order to die. I don't want to sound morbid, but portion of the formal gardens, gardens of the friars, adjacent to north facade of the monastery. Not bad, but you see, very strict. It's look at the nature outside and look at the nature inside. The nature inside is disciplined, is tamed by the human will. The library of El Escorial. What can we say? It's so majestic that you don't even feel like opening a door to pick up a book from there. It's a great library. Monastery and its reflection. Not bad, but ambitious. If you think monks should be modest and the abodes modest as well, this is not modest. It's austere, but not modest. All in all, it's a great work. Okay, so this was the short presentation about Juan Bautista de Toledo, who died on May 19th, 1567.